Alright, so today I'm gonna make some explosive tip arrowheads. And these are some of the things you'll need. You'll need a CO2 cartridge like this with the back drilled out. And then you want to cut off the curved part to the front, just like this, and deburr it and everything. Make it all smooth. And then you'll want a little piece of PVC like this. You just cut this as 1/2 inch. A dowel rod, machine screw that'll fit the threadings of an arrow insert, and a little plastic washer spacer, and a nut to fit the machine screw, some tape, and then 3 roll caps. And one you'll have to pack tightly like this, the others you can just kind of leave loose. But just buy cheap arrows. Don't buy anything like Easton or anything like that. Just buy some Walmart $2 or $3 arrows. You don't want to mess up any of your hunting arrows, and these will probably get messed up inserts, just kind of like this one. So, and then some BBs, and you'll need a compound bow that probably has at least 50-pound draw, because you need some power behind this to set it off. That's what makes it safe, because you can't drop this arrowhead and have it go off and blow you up. So you really need to have some force behind it. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is you take your CO2 cartridge like this, and you take the machine screw, put it inside like that, and let it poke out the bottom. And when you drill out that hole, make sure you get about the same diameter as that screw. And then next, you take this plastic washer and you put it inside or over the machine screw. And then next, you take that nut, put it right over onto your machine screw and tighten that down. And obviously use screwdriver and some pliers to tighten this. Alright, so, and what this washer does is basically it gives the head a little bit of give. So let's say you hit whatever you're shooting at an angle, it doesn't bend the whole arrow and mess up the carbon or mess up the tank. And so I mean, it might bend your screw, but those are a lot easier to replace than an arrow or this tank. The tank is really a pain to drill a hole and cut off the head. And so after you do that, you just take some of your roll caps. You take the 2 loosely packed ones, and you want to like roll them a little bit tighter just so they'll fit inside of this. But don't roll them so tight that it's just super compact, because then it won't go off, because then it doesn't have enough give to accelerate and all the little dots on there to explode. So yeah, I'll pack these off camera, and then so once you got them about like that, put it right on the inside of your tank. Alright, so once you get those kind of packed in, kind of see them in there. Next thing you do is you just throw the tightly packed one in. It just seems to work best with at least one that's really tightly packed. And once that's all the way in, you take some BBs, probably about 20 or 25 BBs. You'll go ahead and put them in, and this kind of makes a cone shape. All the roll caps, they just make a cone shape, so the BBs will just sit perfectly inside of those. Alright, so once you got all the BBs in, next thing you need to work on is getting these to be able to fit inside of the tank. Basically this dowel rod will go right inside of PVC, and the PVC will be like a little sleeve, and then you got to get the PVC to fit the right diameter of the tank. It doesn't take more than like 3 wraps of tape to make it fit right, but you just want it to fit snug so it applies pressure. Alright, so I've got tape wrapped around those, and they fit pretty snugly. The next thing you want to do is just load the PVC into the front of the tank. Alright, so I put that in, and just kind of push it down, get it all set. And don't worry, you're not going to set it off. And once it's all set, you just kind of wrap tape around just to make sure that none of this will come out whenever you shoot. And it will also add for a little bit of aerodynamics for while it's flying. Alright, so I've got it all packed. So if I put this right on the tip of an arrow right now and shot it, it would blow up. And the thing is with this though, it doesn't send shrapnel outwards, it sends it forwards. So basically if you shoot through like drywall or shoot through like a board, it'll come out the other end and just send BBs and this dowel and PVC, they'll send that through like a gunshot. And it really does shoot pretty much the same velocity as a 12 gauge, so it's very powerful, and you can reuse the tank and the arrow pretty much every time, unless you hit something wrong. But that's what the little plastic piece does. It just protects everything. So yeah, I'll put it on an arrow, and I'll show you some of my videos. I've made a few, and they're all slow motion, so it's pretty cool. And what I did is I set up a piece of plywood and then 3 layers of cardboard behind it to see how many it would go through, and they're all spaced about 10 inches. So yeah, you can see the sparks and all the BBs going through, and it's pretty neat. So check it out. These are all the pieces of cardboard. That's the first one, second one, and the third one. All BBs that go right through on a couple of the shots. First one actually went right on the edge of the box. And the second one's got all these roll caps stuck in there. All the way through all 3 cardboard boxes. And these are pretty thick. They're not the thinner kind, they're the thicker double layers, so has some power. But pretty nice. It goes right through the board also. Shot it quite a few times.